Okay, welcome to Dark Souls. I just realized once again that 3 minutes into my video, my mic was not on because that is the automatic value it sets to it. Welcome. Welcome to my playthrough. I don't know who this is. Why don't you say hello, please? You don't have to, obviously. I just love the roar of hex spells. Thank you for coming back and watching me again. I hope I can see you later on in other versions of this playthrough. I'm sorry I cut my earlier video off so soon. I will definitely send you some links to some great builds. And again, thank you for watching. If you ever see me filming again, I would love to have you again. There is an item you can only get if you roll off this platform, which I'm right about here. Lacerating knives give you a little bit of bleed potential on enemies. I don't know if it works on the primal enemy coming up, but it could. So they put this guy in here, and if you recognize him, he is the boss from No Man's Wharf. And he's a son of a bitch, I gotta admit. He's a big old piece of shit. Extremely low mobility you get from having to trudge through water just makes him an absolute nightmare. I thankfully have seemed to have gotten him relatively caught. Dark Hail, which is your other ability, is usually better for, you know, trying to cleave through an area just chock full of enemies. If you can land multiple orbs on one enemy, obviously it'll do a bit more damage. But for the most part, it's used for clearing out groups, like when you're trying to get to Earthen Peak. You know, Earthen Peak has a few areas that have a little bit of a population problem that you're gonna need to fix. Is it necessary to kill all of these guys? But it doesn't hurt either. Gotta love enemies with such large attack ranges. So as you can see, I am in absolutely no fucking way in shape to actually take on a boss right now. So what do you do when shit's a little bit too real? You help somebody else out. And by help somebody else out, mainly I mean hope that they can do most of the job for you, especially when you've weakened yourself and you are already weakened. I'm gonna wield this big ass shield. Oh wow. It suffers a hefty little. So you want to get to as close to 100% damage reduction, which is, let me see if I can point it out, which is this stat right here. This blocks all melee damage, and these block all of the elemental damages. For the most part, save for a few exceptions, you won't really have to deal with too many enemies with these afflictions attributed to their weapon. For looks, I usually wield this shield. Wield this. Silky and smooth stones are used to trade in for various random items that, if you're lucky, can range from super amazing to that's convenient at least. It's a good way to get infusement weapons. Infusement stones, outside of actually earning them in some form of combat. Okay. The problem here is I kind of have to wait for somebody to take me into their game so I can help them, because shit kind of got real in the pathway here. Now, I suppose I could go back to that bonfire, heal myself, and hope that I get through this thing untouched. And I just may have to do that. In fact, I will do that for the sake of this video not being 20 minutes of me standing outside of a boss engagement, hoping that somebody picks up my summoner sign. I'm just gonna do it this way. Now, you don't want to take on this specific fight unless you've acquired the help of Lucatiel, which you will find her at the beginning of the Lost Bastille. Not because she's necessarily a lot of help, but mainly because if you advance her storyline enough, you get all of her items. Spoiler alert, I guess, I don't know. People give you their shit. Yay. So I'm gonna try my absolute damnedest to get to the end of this pathway. In fact, I'm going to... Dark Hell will be stronger later on. Right now, it's more of a hindrance than anything. I can't use that because I don't have a chime on me, so... Oh, I don't have the attributes for that spell. So I'll just equip this. Now I've got spells. Juicy. I kind of prefer my Hexer set. It has an air of looming about it. So far so good. I'm gonna be able to hopefully get past this door without being exploded from behind. Get down here and I'm safe. So, Lucatiel's symbol should be somewhere around here. I'm not entirely sure where. I know this is this is great information, but okay. So since I can't remember where Lucatiel's shit is, I'm going to use this homeward bone to get back without losing my souls. And I'm going to go to the very beginning of the Lost Bastille and see if I have any conversation options left for Lucatiel. Because if I do, then I've learned what I did wrong. If you have the chance to get a major NPC to help you in a mission and learn about their story a little bit more, I always recommend that over anything else. What you don't understand about the game, you'll learn through the dialogues you get through these unique meetings, like talking to Lucatiel and understanding her story and what's wrong with her and why she fights. I'm just gonna go full Hexer set again. Because damn it if it don't look sweet as sweet can be. I find it unnecessary that tower's blocked off, like once you walk through there you can't go back that way. I understand it kind of puts a bit of finality into your pathing decisions, but it's unnecessary. It's the only place you'll find a decision you have to make like that. Seeing as Lucatiel's symbol, I mean, Lucatiel is no longer where I thought she would be. I'm going to head on and see if I can find her symbol back up there. I believe, sadly, that I'll have to... I believe she may be... her symbol may be in one of the cages. And I may have to... I may just have to expend a few spells and do my best to get there and get it. Which isn't that big of a deal. The earlier bosses in the game, while they seemed daunting, as long as you don't let your fear overtake you, they won't be as big of a problem as they seem. Yes, you'll see guys with these giant weapons, but as long as you don't let it scare you, you can beat them. You can gimmick the rolling system in this game. There is science to this madness of constantly rolling. And I believe the term for it is called invincibility frames. You get a certain amount of invincibility frames when you do certain actions in this game. Any day now. Any day. How this elevator system works. Is it a counterbalance system? Is it a counterweight system? And if that's the case, then I wonder how it was measured out. Anyway, continue. There it is. That's where Lucatiel's symbol was. I'm a stupid. Something inside me told me. So hopefully that guy doesn't attack me. Hopefully Lucatiel doesn't, waste a lot of her health getting the shit beaten out of her. Usually if you run, your summons will run with you. Won't be stupid faces. Another problem here is hoping that your summons doesn't accidentally walk off into their death. It happens. It has happened before to me. So here's a first Primal Soul boss. Dude, you got something. Oh shit, I'm sorry about it. So I believe, I know I say so a lot in the video, if you light the two oil slicks outside of this fight before you come into, wow, I'm just wasting spells. Said you want your summons to live through these combats, or you kind of fuck yourself out of story elements in the game. So you want to keep their damage above your NPC's damage. Being a kind of bitch to do, because I keep losing my lock on this guy, and I keep wasting my spells. I gotta pray or I'm gonna lose Lucatiel. There we go. I barely just saved Lucatiel. Maybe I should try to talk to him. Okay. I that settled. So now that that's settled, if you go through these doors, you'll be greeted by a staircase which leads down to your first primal bonfire. And now primal bonfires, you can't use them like usual fires. You can't use it to light torches, you can't use it to you can't use it to fast port to places. You can only use them to go back to Majula. That's the only thing you can do with this specific type of bonfire. I'm not sure, but there may be some fake doors in this room. I'm pretty sure there isn't, but I figure it's safer to just run like an idiot across a few walls and hope that something opens up to give you presents. Hopefully I can get up to 16, to 12, nope. Gets me closer at least to one of my goals, which is to ultimately be able to get to 20 strength and about 12 dexterity. That'll allow me to wield a two-handed weapon later on in the game that scales great with Dark. I've said that a million times, I'm sorry, but this, which I now can. The mace is a great strike weapon. It scales well with most stats, and once infused with an element, it does amazing damage. I don't have any souls though, because I focused on getting that up to 16. Let's see if I've got any spirits. There I go. Good to have some sort of backup weapon in your repertoire. A melee weapon of some sort, a shield of some sort. And the mace will do you for a very, very long time. It is a lovely weapon that I heavily promote amongst all of over a lot of other weapons. So I'll put that as a secondary for my top weapon, and I will replace the regular shield I've got with something a little bit more substantial. What I'm going to want is something that doesn't raise my weight over 50%. Once you get over 50%, you start to lose out on a few things. Now, I could take that weapon and put it in this slot, which is what I'm going to do. That gives me the option of using this spell, Dark Weapon. Now if I want to use this, I just fili bam, and I've got a dark weapon. I believe this lasts 60 to 2 minutes, 60 seconds to 120 seconds. If you're watching and you look up in the top, you'll be able to watch the time ellipse from the time I cast it to this. So, yay. Let's see if I've got any. Nope, no twinkling twilight. But I can upgrade this. I am, in fact, instead going to upgrade to this. Because it is always a good idea to have a secondary staff just waiting to be used. And since my other weapon does not use regular Titanite, it uses Twinkling Titanite, it's safe enough to spend it on something else and not feel bad about it. So I've run out of. So now that I've done that, I believe that yes, since I've upgraded this, it's going to be better for a little bit. It doesn't have that lovely scaling that the Sunset weapon has, so wielding this, I give 157 plus 57, but because of the scaling, that's 116 plus 95 and 106 plus 135. So this is still technically a little bit weaker, I suppose, just based off of the hex scaling, but is this cast up much faster? Let me show you. So, casting this, that. See the difference? Cast, shoot. Cast, shoot. Cast, shoot. Cast, shoot. From the Lost Bastille, I think I will be moving on to No Man's Wharf. The reason I avoided it before is because a boss in the No Man's Wharf requires Lucatiel, but Lucatiel won't appear there until after you've defeated the boss in Lost Bastille. Usually she'll appear here, but she's not appearing here, which saddens me. She may just be elsewhere. I think they just moved her elsewhere in this map. I'll have to see by experiencing it. So I hate No Man's Wharf. It's a lot of enemies, but that's what spells are for. See, if I had used my Sunset Staff there, I probably would have gotten hit by that. That just extra amount of time that you have to spend casting is the difference between taking some damage and taking no damage. Oh, cool, buddy. It's good to occasionally destroy the scenery because there will be, excuse me, there will be occasionally areas behind those walls. I didn't realize how much dark damage did to those guys. So, if you come into No Man's Wharf, it's a great idea to get some sort of torch ready ahead of time, because it's really dark and there's a lot of places where you can slip off and just fall to an immediate death. Like I've said, this game is just potent with its amount of constant immediate deaths. So the problem with me is I sneeze in threes, and the fact that I've already sneezed twice means I know I'm going to sneeze again. And it's just a bitch anticipating it. A few of the enemies in this particular part of the map have a problem with light, there's specifically enemies up ahead that will actively recoil from light. They won't do it forever. Eventually, they will gather up the courage to fuck you in the mouth. But until that day comes, you can, hey buddy. That's why I love hexes, they're just so strong. This is also why I love sorcery type builds. Dark Souls likes to throw a lot of enemies at you at the same time. And for me, with my twitchy demeanor, oh fuck my pussy. I have a tendency to just roll at the wrong time. Welcome to my stream. I hope I can teach you something about Dark Souls 2, or just amuse you with my constant death. Or you can leave. That's perfectly fine. My dog's gonna attack me. Or there's Lucatiel. My sweet, sweet baby.
You haven't changed a bit, have you?
In the 30 minutes...
The longer I am here, the more madness. A wretched place, indeed, but not without traces of its former glory.
Oh, Lucatiel, I love you.
What could have caused such degradation?
Zombies?
Ah, yes. I have not thanked you for humoring me the other day. This is for you.
She gives you a human
Of course,
effigy.
I have no idea what it is.
It would have helped you. In fact, it would have saved you, but it's okay.
Our land of Mirror is surrounded by enemies and constantly at war.
I think the benefit of a human effigy...
Two things.
Sorry I talked over that, but she's a swordswoman from a land called Mira, where women don't usually become swordsmen. She was not only, like, rare in that she became a swordsman despite her sex, she became a swordsman...
I was raised to wield a sword from birth.
She became a swordsperson despite her caste in life.
I had swift success on the battlefield and quickly attained. And then
she became cursed.
Have you heard of the undead?
She's hallowed.
An undead gradually loses his humanity until his wits degrade completely. Finally, he turns hollow and preys upon others. And a hollow can never be human again. One can skirt this wicked fate only with the assuming, of course, that the legends are true. I can only hope.
So she takes off her mask, and you see that she's got a little patch of undeath on her face, which means she's...
I'm sorry. I suppose I've grown.
So I've established her talk for this area. I believe there's a room behind there. Get you a human effigy, a few human effigies, a good, lovely amount. Wow, with the amount of human effigies around, she should not be fucking a problem. If you do want these people's armors without having to talk them through their entire storyline, you can just outright kill them. That is an option. In some cases, you won't get the full extent of what you should by, just outright talking to them. But you can, for the most part, still skirt by getting stuff without, going through the process of learning about these people. I, for one, over most of the other characters in this game, just absolutely love Lucatiel. I'll say that again and again because it'll always be true. She's lovely and tries to be positive despite how horrifying the hollowing curse is. It takes everything from you. And it isn't a fast process like zombification in other video games. It is slow and gradual, taking away from you day by day until there's nothing left of you inside. So, around here, like that so nicely proclaims, is a character named Germ. I'm trying to think of how you get up to him. I believe there's... It's weird that those enemies, despite being weaker than the other enemies, are somehow stronger. Well, fuck you too, buddy. I'm trying to remember everything from my previous playthroughs of this game. A lot of stuff gets lost in the cogworks of my brain. I don't know if I'm supposed to get over there by means of going through here. It kind of looks like that's a negatory. So I'm gonna move on, move on. I'm sure there's like some upwards thing. I will want to talk to Garum at some point. It's better to save your meeting with Garum when you can sell stuff. Since I don't give a shit about forethought, I'll probably just talk to him just so you can experience that for yourselves. Like I said, there are certain enemies that just desperately recoil at the sight of light. And those are that enemy. Oh, hey, buds. They are fucking strong, as you would expect from something that looks like it has never skipped leg day in its life. I mean, it has never skipped arm day in its life. They drop the usual trinkets, mainly longswords, as you'll see. As long as you've got a torch on you, they really are the easiest of enemies to just cheese through. So this is where you usually find Garum. In fact, he should be here somewhere. It's okay if I don't find him. Ah, oh, fuck my pussy. I believe this is where Garum used to be. There's a lot of replacements of characters from the previous Dark Souls game. The last incursion of this specific one. I have to look out because there is an item I want to find in this specific area. Shit, I'm just running out of soul. I'm out. Okay. Great damage, just lovely damage off the bat. There are going to be two enemies up here. Hopefully I can get one without the other. Since I got one. The one thing to worry about with these guys is the fact that they have, a tendency to attack really quickly in succession, which can fuck up some skis right quick, and like I've always said, you never want your skis fucked up. That summons... It effectively summons the boss battle to you. I don't really want to go any further without spells, so I'm just gonna waste this last one. They inflict bleed damage, which is the main problem with them. If you bleed, suddenly a large chunk of your health will suddenly disappear. I know at some point there is a false wall somewhere that behind it are a few items. Oh, hey buddy. I'm just gonna knock you off. I was hoping that would kill you, but apparently I have no such luck. That I had better luck, but he had shitty luck. There are gonna be some shit-tastic enemies right about here. I really hate these enemies. I think it fell off, so yay. I guess that's what he gets for being super duper fast. They are a new addition to this Dark Souls iteration. Because I definitely don't remember those assholes fucking dicking with me. I want to get over here. Because this is one of your biggest sorceries teacher, but he focuses mainly on pyromancy, I believe.
I am correct.
Sorry, buddy. So yeah, talk to Carillion. He'll only talk to you if you have a certain amount of intellect. Mainly, I believe you need 20 intellect before he'll actually talk to you. But once you do get him, he gives you a shit ton of spells to buy. Yearn is the equivalent of throwing a glowing skull. Glowing skulls in this game, upon impact with the ground, draw in certain undead enemies to the spot it hits. Not super helpful. Some of these abilities are lovely. So I'm trying to figure out what would be good. Now I know Soul Spear Barrage is just an amazing spell. In fact, I'm gonna get it. And I want... see, 23 uses. 23 uses of a spell is just always a lovely thing to have happen in your day. The question is what... you know what? I'm just going for it. So now that I've got...
the forces of magic and souls lie dormant in this land.
He's got such a lovely voice.
It is a fitting place to hone my sorceries.
If you say so, Suffering
I suspect
Succotash.
that I may even conjure up new spells here. Sorcery is yet a mystery even to me. Let us use scrolls to unleash the power of sorceries. But the power of
More
each scroll is
stories.
reliant on the untrained cannot wield. Never forget, young pupil. The forces of magic and souls lie dormant in this land.
Now,
It is
if you talk to him enough... Sorceries. Sorry I keep talking through this guy, but if you talk to him enough, he will...
Young pupil, do not take...
He will eventually go to Majula, but I think maybe kind of like the Hag Witch from earlier, you have to... So if you knock that down, you get a lovely little shortcut, and that kind of makes stuff a lot nicer. Bradley of the Old Guard. Alright, so now that everything is largely cleaned out, I can take a little bit extra time and look for the things that I deem necessary for this to really work out. Now I know that somewhere is a false wall, not an illusionary wall, but a false wall that if you smack it on the ass, it will break down for you and it will reveal some pretty helpful items. But I'm having so much trouble remembering where it is. It will give you a certain powerful ring called the Soldier's Ring, which increases the amount of stuff you can carry. It's mainly more important for physical builds. Have I talked to you all the way?
I'm sorry. I suppose...
Yeah, I've talked to you as much as you're willing to talk to me. I'm gonna let this video kind of go on to its extremes, and eventually later I will edit it down into little chunks on my YouTube channel. Which, YouTube, how about that shit? Lovely service, if I do say so myself. I keep going to the wrong places, and I'm sorry. I know you expect playthroughs to be, you know, up on their shit, but one of these walls is gonna break for me. I may be using the wrong weapon for this, but I'd like to think not. Of course, I can't just easily jump up there. I hear a dog. Maybe it's down there. Okay, buddies. Now's not a lovely time for that. Oh fuck, I'm on fire. I cannot. Can you not though, right? Wow. Can't? Oh, I did about every single thing wrong there. And that's because of that nerve problem I told you about. I have a tendency to freak out and, do actions that aren't necessarily helpful to the whole staying alive process, which is pretty important in this game, staying alive. But now I've got all my souls back. I kind of wish I didn't have to go through... I mean, I have all my spells back, but I kind of wish I didn't have to go through all the enemies over again. Maybe I can just circumvent. Okay. I'm having a little bit of trouble concentrating correctly, which is it's mainly my problem. But I'll get back into it. It's the trouble of having to try and think of constantly think of stuff to say while being legitimately helpful, and hopefully I'm being legitimately helpful with the stuff I'm trying to show you from this game. Wow, that is deep water. He fell forever and really, really quickly. So a lovely thing, as has been established in this game, to keep your enemies in check is to keep fire on hand, specifically for these assholes. Just keeps enemies at bay, and it is just significantly lovely being able to see where you're going. Hey buddy, hey buddy, hey buddy. I think my throwing knife was a little bit stronger. Ooh, I've never gotten anything from him. So, they love giving out long swords. To be honest, I believe it is in the house I was going to try and walk into, but was stopped suddenly by assholes. Those assholes in particular. I would love... Jesus Christ, you fast little fuckface. I wish they dropped those masks. They probably do. Calm down, calm down. Your leg is being a little bit weird right now, buddy. Yeah? Is that how we do it now? Going to try and find a reasonable way. Why are they one-shotting them now? Like, oh hey, girl. So I'll use this. So I believe once you've talked in your gear, you lose the ability to talk. Shit, my fuck. Once you talk to gear, you lose the ability to speak to him for a little while. Come on. Come on, roll anywhere. That's definitely why I should be bad at Dark Souls, because of stuff like that. You know, I'm just gonna talk to him.
Who are you?
So if you talk to Germ...
I, Gavlan.
Gavlan? Oh, because he wears Germ gear.
Gavlan, what? You...
So his name's apparently Gavlan, and I've been stupid. He sells poison arrows, poison items, a lot of poisonous shit, but the main draw of him is the fact that he actually sells. You can actually sell your shit with him. Which means all of the goddamn souls that you could want. If you refrain on using him off the bat, you can just like save up your inventory and sell to him later on. And that is viable, I don't care. Wow, you'd think that something that requires the soul of a boss would give you more money than a mundane greatsword, but okay. I'll keep it. Don't need that. Don't need that. There's just a lot of weapons I'm not going to be using in this playthrough. I may keep the crossbow. There's a boss later on that you can gimmick a little bit if you use a crossbow to fuck with him. I don't need a parrying shield, I don't need a target shield. Hollow shoulder shield is just outright shit. It also helps getting rid of a lot of the stuff you just don't want in your inventory. Like all of the hollow soldier gear, not really helpful. Those are some deep chugs. They're just all shit gear with bad scaling. That's okay. Shadow gauntlets, those maybe look cool. I'm gonna keep all my hex gear. I'll even keep all the Dranglet gear. I don't need 2 life rings, since you can't wear 2 of the same item, and because the Covetous Silver Serpent Ring plus 1 is way better than Covetous Serpent Ring plus nothing. It's just it's gone skis. Ring of Blades is one of the best rings for a physical fighter. I always recommend it. Never sell this shit unless you've upgraded everything you've ever wanted to upgrade ever, and even still think about it a little bit before you do it, because while some of these items can be rebought infinitely, don't take that for granted. For all of them.
Many thanks.
Thank you, gear. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Drink your beer. Drink it. Calm down. Calm down, buddy. So now that I've done that, I've made this place a little bit safer for myself. Yeah. So if I get shot with a fire arrow right now, I'm covered. Just covered in oil. Which is why there's an enemy down there that's trying to shoot me with fire arrows. Now if I do get hit, fuck. But hopefully that won't be the case. I'm gonna try and get rid of most of my problems early on. Lovely shots there, okay. Seems like most of my problems down there are gone. Except I'm still oily. I'm still quite oily. So if this guy decides to get a good shot, it would be bad for me, obviously. So. Jesus, buddy. I seriously don't know why these guys have that just little bit of extra health needed to fuck me in my pussy, but I don't know what this specific Ferrous Lockstone does. I don't have any items either, so sorry. But if you want that... Wow, that was fast. They're just in here, sitting off a few of their drinks. Whenever you're not sure of a chest, smack it on the pussy. I don't know what that gear looks like, so let's try it out. Brigand. Looks like effectively it is a rogue set. I actually like the squares of bronze inlaid across the chest. It's an interesting looking set, I gotta admit. But I'm a hexer. Hex life forever. Okay. So one of these walls, somewhere, I may just look it up later and then show you at a later date. That may just be the most beneficial thing to do since I just can't seem to find it. So give it a smack. it didn't turn into a monster, so open that shit up, get what you want out of it, which is going to turn out to be a Titanite shard and a repair. Okay. I'm gonna use this time to buy some more spells from Corithilian, or whatever his name is, Corillian. I
Visit is welcome.
I believe he'll only travel to where you live if you buy a certain amount of stuff. I am going to be tending more towards hexes, so I don't want to buy too many sorceries, but it's good to have spares while you're eating pears.
The forces of magic, vices, sorcery.
I'm gonna assume. Whatever. So moving on, before I take on what is going to be a boss, I first want to get all my spells back, and I'm going to switch out my spells so that I can... Oh, excuse me, holy shit. I'm sorry. So I can show off some of the other spells. Now, Dark Weapon isn't going to be that much help to me in the upcoming battle, so I'm not going to fuck with that shit. Miracles, for the most part, use chimes. There are items in the game that count as both chimes and staves at the same time. I don't currently have anything like that. So I'll just show you how this spell looks. I'm probably not going to use it for the boss fight, but it sends out a barrage of little machine gun souls. It is kind of like Dark Hail, a very good spell for when you want to keep a bunch of enemies at bay at the same time. But generally, if you can, just use another spell. So, I just want to make sure I'm complete. So, in order to get Lucatiel to help you, you have to be human. So, are these not the spell? Okay, they're not the same spell. That's good to know. I may have accidentally put on the wrong spell, but that's okay. I've got plenty of spells currently equipped that nothing should be much of a problem. Hopefully I can just run past these guys with little to no problems. Pick up Lucatiel and just keep on running. I usually only stick to one summon at a time, if necessary, because the more summons you take into... Oh, fuck, Lucatiel. So I have to die now, which is not the greatest thing, but I summon... Yeah, I just have to die. So... if a summons dies in the act of duty towards you, it counts as them dying forever in a way. So the only way to bring them back is to let yourself die. It is a shitty way, but I mean, what can you do? I should have just killed those enemies along the way. I think because I died right there, I kind of fucked Lucatiel over, and that's my fault. That's my fault. So this time I'll just be a little bit more careful. I'll shoot people along the way. get hit by that asshole. I'll go this way, give myself a little space. Sometimes you just make yourself problems by trying to avoid fights. You just build things upon things, and that just creates a bigger problem than you had originally. Oh shit, I almost dropped myself right off the edge of that. So I want Lucatiel. Lucatiel's very important. Wait for her to get here because I know that she can sometimes fall off of this pathway. It's very easy for Lucatiel to fall off this pathway. In fact, that's how I just recently lost Lucatiel. Now, if you see Lucatiel's HP bar just suddenly drop to 0, you'll know that she fell to her death like an asshole. So this is going to be one of the easier fights in the game. It is a oh shit. I say that and then get swarmed. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit of space right now because I did not expect this much confrontation off the bat. Okay, I am being super great at the whole dodge and aspect. Really, buddy? An arrow to the back. Was that necessary? So now that that's settled, I can run all the way home. Shoot this asshole in the face. I really would have rather not had Lucatiel be this slightly damaged before the fight, but I've got all of my main abilities. For you new guys watching, I run a Hexer build because I just find it a lot more enjoyable than sorcery in general. So let's just jump right into this fight willy-nilly. Welcome back! So, if you watch the last half of this video, you'll recognize this enemy from the last Bastille. This is one of the minor enemies you come across on your path. They attack from both ends. I generally find that this sword half is the far more dangerous half of this character. But generally, until you go into New Game Plus, this is significantly one of the easiest enemies to fight. Once you do go into New Game Plus, though, it comes with a series of NPC enemies that will help it, which in this really cramped space, and considering the speed of the enemies he gets to help him, it just really makes that a very hectic fight. So here is where you get your first ability to use Pyromancy. So if you are going the Pyromancy route, you'll want to go to No Man's War first, because you can't use Pyromancy spells without a Pyromancy Flame, which look like this. The good thing about them is they have no real stat requirement, but they do have good scaling with intellect, or I mean faith. Fire damage works off of faith. It's weightless because it's basically your hand. There is a more powerful version of it that attunes with dark spells, but you'll find that later on in the game. So once you touch that, you'll turn into a temporary Jack Sparrow, and you'll be the captain of this sweet-ass pirate ship. Now, where this takes you is the back half of the Lost Bastille. It is a roundabout way of getting into the Lost Bastille without having to go through two fragrant branches of yore. So how you doing, Agony? Or Queen, Alice? Whichever name you want to be the priority here. Yep. Good, my mic is on. I would have hated to have been talking all this time to nobody. Oh shit. Any items? Nope. Okay. About to start your sorcerer? Yeah. Sorcery alone, not hex. let me rephrase that. So sorcery is extremely strong, especially since the fact that you can just focus on intellect and still get a shit ton out of your abilities. I like hexing just because, well, listen. It all but roars as you cast spells, and I just love that fact. It roars, just roar. Which version of sorcery are you going to do? Blue spells like this? Are you going to do pyromancy, or are you going to do a hexer? So one of these doors leads to a back bonfire. Good, hex is so much fun. And some of your hexes increase based off of how many souls. I've told you this before, but some of your hexes increase based off of how many souls you have currently in your possession. And there's one spell called like Resonant Soul, something like that, maybe Greater Resonant Soul. It consumes all of your souls, but it puts out the absolute most damage you can put out in this game. In PvP, I used it to cheese instant victories because people would see it coming but not understand how much damage it would be putting out. Put it up there. Great, a Dark Spirit. So in Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, something they added is they added a lot more invaders. You'll be invaded a lot more by NPC bots, specifically Forlorn Souls. Now, if this were my other build, I would just smash him with my hammer infinitely. I will try to do my best with I need to see where I'm going. There we go. The positives about the Forlorn Knights is they will drop human effigies when you kill them, and once you've killed enough of them, they start dropping special weapons. And they will increasingly drop more stuff based off of how much of your gear resembles theirs. Like if you start wearing their items, they'll drop more items. So since you're sort of parallel starting your build next to me, the first two stats you want to get up to 20 are Intellect and Faith. Not just because they're the main stats that hexers use, but because if you get them done fast enough, you can get a hexer set the set I'm currently wearing right now, staff included, if you get those stats out. In fact, after I kill this guy, I will show you exactly where to get it once you've... Ralph Wiggum. I like your name. I love your name. So who is hacking? Am I hacking? Am I a cheater right now? Now yeah, it's pretty sexy, I gotta admit. Understand that coming down here, a version of the Pursuer Knight will appear amongst all of these. Shit. So I believe he's already here, maybe. Yeah, there he is. I'd really rather not fight him. In fact, I'm gonna just escape. I'm gonna backtrack for you, Alice, and I'm gonna show you a few things that I know will be helpful for hex builds, since I don't want you to have to go through the first hour and 44 minutes I played this game. So early on, when you're playing this and you're trying to level up, you want to go to this specific bonfire. They're those big troll enemies that once you get here, you'll know it's a big troll hippopotamus-looking enemy that takes swings at you. They drop 1,000 souls per kill, and occasionally drop Souls of the Proud Knight, which gets you 2,000 extra souls. That'll help you get to your 20 pretty quickly. They also have a chance of dropping Titanite. Also, you know, killing the Pursuer Knight, killing the giant. Once you've gotten your 2020, you want to head to the Huntsman's Copse, which you get to by unlocking the seal and getting the path shifted over while you're in Majula, if you know what I'm talking about. So once you've got the 2020, you're going to want to come meet this guy. As you can see, we're wearing the same outfit. Once you've got 2020 and you talk to him enough, he'll give you the set.
All the save a few. I went to a great school in this. It drew me in soon.
He'll also have a bunch of souls ready to sell to you. Any spell with the name Resonant in it is going to require the use of your souls. Any use of Dark will just be a dark spell. Dark Orb will be a great spell for you early on. It's generally stronger than regular sorcery bolts, and like I've said before, I just really think it looks cooler. In general, you can't use miracles with staves, but there are items in this game that allow you to use both hexes and miracles at the same time. That's actually a good item right there.
No matter.
So that'll get you this gear. No, I don't remember if I've told you all this, but The Sunset Staff, why it's so great is because it starts off automatically with an A scaling in Intellect and an S scaling in Dark, which means off the bat, even this Sorcerer's Staff +4 does not equal the power of a Sunset Staff +1. It's just better. Though it is good to have a secondary staff ready for you. Sorry, I'm blathering on. So far I've killed the last giant. I've killed the Pursuer Knight, that 2-weapon guy. I killed a prisoner. Also, if you didn't know, after you kill certain enemies, if you go back to Majula and talk to this fine gentleman, he will start... Actually, you have to buy a certain amount, so... It's good to get the chat dialogue out of the way before buying stuff from him. But once you've bought a specific amount of items from him, he'll start talking differently. He'll also start selling different pairs of armor. I don't really remember the exact amount, but because I'm a little bit loose with my souls, it should be okay. So
thanks very much.
I feel like I've bought enough from him, so I'm gonna go this way for a second. And please tell me whenever you're like having trouble with a certain enemy, and I'll tell you how I usually, figure them out. If you're in fact still here. I can only tell that somebody's watching my video, not if they are actually the person I think they are.
Oh, I was hoping that you would come.
So once you've spent enough souls, he'll stop sitting on the ground, and he will start sitting on a chair.
Did I mention before that I was on the desolate? Yeah.
He has 3 dialogues that he goes through. One where he's sitting on the floor, one where he's sitting on the chair, and one where he becomes a cocky asshole.
Have you seen that warrior lugging that giant blue sword about? I'm no expert. The monstrous thing has a peculiar... I'd have to take... I considered returning to my...
He doesn't really say anything that interests me, but once you've talked to him, he starts selling you a lot of new different things. Specifically, after some bosses, he'll sell you their gear. Now, if you're ever running a Dark Souls 2 strength build, the penal handcuffs, though they don't give you that much strength, though they don't give you that much defense, I believe they increase your carry. They increase one of your stats. Yes, there we go. If you wield the mask, it increases your carrying load. None of the other items really do anything.
Always open for business.
So later on, this will become more important. You can get down there if you buy an item from inside of here. If you talk to this cat and get the...
Oh, and one just nodding. Well, oh yeah, so, ooh.
If you buy this ring right here, reduces falling damage, you will actually be able to survive that fall. What I do want right now is this item. The Ring of Whispers.
Satisfied?
Now,
I'll be around.
the Ring of Whispers doesn't play into too many boss fights off the bat, but it plays into one specifically that has a bit of interesting lore behind it. First I have to figure out which direction I really want to go in. Also, I would like to visit Straight real quick. You're going to be significantly weaker off the bat, so either healing wares or a life ring. You will get a life ring pretty early on though, so I would get the healing wares. If you're pretty confident in your ability to dodge or block, you could go with like a petrified something and trade it in the place where you trade in silky smooth items. If that makes sense, I'll just go there. If you go to the place in the thing betwixt where you trade in petrified items, you could luck out and get something cool off the bat. Speaking of which, I've never turned in my items here. If you are doing a hexer build, you can start off as either a sorcerer or a cleric, depending on what you feel will be more comfortable for you to begin with. You need both faith and intellect, and cleric build starts off with like 12 faith to begin with. Also, I don't know if you know this, but if you can get to that shore over there and jump into that coffin, your character goes through a sex change, that coffin right there. You need a fragrant branch of yore to get there though. I never like how I turn out though, because whenever I make a male character, I want them to look like a man, so when I put them through the sex change coffin, it kind of doesn't have the best results. The reason I came back here is I have some items I want to exchange, which I told you about. So you go over here, you knock this ladder down, and now you can just come back here all the time. So this is where you come if you get the petrified something gift. You go into your inventory. I believe you had something similar to this in Dark Souls 3 where you drop items. You can leave them as a group and you'll still get the full amount.
Not like that.
Oh. I did it in a way that they did not agree with. Okay, so you can leave them in mass, you just can't drop them all at once. Shoot, what did I just do? Okay, so that's not what I wanted to do. I don't even know what silky smooth stones do when you do that. So you just leave them there. Let's see what I got. Life gem, worthless. Dark Knight stone. That is actually extremely helpful because obviously I'm a hexer. Shh, babies. Shh. Cracked blue, worthless. Worthless. Wow, so many worthless items. But one item I really needed, so that's okay. Thing I want to check out real quick. I only have one twinkling titanite. Okay. If you do try to go over there, just understand that that guy isn't alone. There is one hiding behind the rocks to the right of that place, and he will come out and just straight up eat your butthole. Once. So if you want to be the Queen of Agony, I don't know if I have the spell yet for it. There it is. Yeah, I'm gonna use that spell. If you want to be the Queen of Agony, then Dark Fog is one of the spells you want, because you just create a beautiful poison area that just continuously attacks enemies. And that is a great spell for PvE, even for PvP to some extent. I may even keep that in my spell roster. I don't usually like so early on to put spells that require 2 attunement slots, but what can you do? Okay, so I finished Lost Bastille, I finished No Man's Wharf. From there, I will go through the Huntsman's Copse. Now this will lead to the Executioner's Chariot battle, which this is just a lovely battle. Will he even make it to me? Nope. Didn't even make it to me. Now think of just tons of enemies walking through that at once. Dying in droves. That's the main utility of that spell. So when you go up this path, watch out because a guy's gonna drop down. Now these assholes are really fast with their attacks. You like that ability? I really like that ability too. Also, when you go this way, watch out because once you touch that door, shit goes down. Oh, look at that floating board. Oh. And personally, above just the fact that the Sunset Staff is a great staff, I just love how it looks. Early on, it's an impressive looking weapon to have. Ow. So there is an item out there. It's kind of a worthless item, but it leads to a further place deeper down. But if you are going to go that way and you are going to do that, just to save yourself some trouble, there is a bonfire right here. It's just a generally good idea to attune to that before you go any further. Didn't hit it right. So the item up there, I believe it's like maybe a cracked blue orb or maybe even a titanite shard. But it's okay to just abandon it if you don't want to die a few times. These particle effects are more than just a pretty effect. It's actual poison. Poisoning at early levels will really fucking wreck you. So be careful with how much you let yourself get poisoned. Come on, just not get poisoned for a little bit longer. There are items that cure poison. I'm gonna equip one for right now. So that's a big ass son of a bitch. Poisoned is not something I really want to be right now, but... Shit. I'm not gonna make it, am I? Nope, didn't make it. Didn't make it. That was bad of me. I completely lost track of the fact of how poisoned I actually was. Also, it takes a really long time to use that item, so remember that if you're ever constantly being damaged by poison. I just love the clunking sound of him falling to a disappointing drop. Yay. Okay, so it's a Ferrous Lockstone and a Token of Fidelity, which if you're part of the Blue Ring Covenant, you can turn those in to increase your rank with them. I generally like to be a part of the Blue Ring Covenant starting out because it decreases the amount of PvP players that attack me. Let me get rid of these guys if I can. Because I really don't want to be poisoned again. Let's get rid of that poison, drop onto this mushroom. God damn it. So I'll use another one of these. Oh shit. Usually if you stay somewhere next to its back legs, it won't be able to do much to you. There we go. So in here, I believe you'll get Richard's Rapier. Yep, it's a great dexterity item, probably one of the best rapiers in the game. Not counting like boss weapons. Also, you're not trapped in here. As, you know, as subtle as this looks, it is a door. Get into this helpful little Iron Maiden. Drag yourself back up to the top, and this leads you to the back half of the building that I was just in. Once you've gone through this secret doorway. Kill the enemies, kill the enemies. Shame if someone knocked you down. Or I could just destroy you with black magic. Let me see, what happens when you go this way? I believe if you come this way, way. There's an item right down here. Yeah, right there. It is a poison moss and a life gem. While that may not sound like the greatest item in the world, the next level after this one, called Earthen Peak, is so chock full of poison-using enemies that you're gonna need it. Remember, if you come up to this door, back away. Roll back in. Shoot him in the face with your big black balls. So now that I'm progressing, not want to rush too greatly through this area, as the enemies here specifically, more than a lot of other places, will really start to build up on you. If you can get this guy to drop his weapon, it is a great item. They completely ignore armor, which for some enemies which can become basically immortal, if you have that weapon, that is the only way to kill them. So this is the way, as you may or may not know. Lucky. That's another helpful thing about the the dark fog spell. If you don't want to deal with an enemy, but they're incessantly chasing you, leaving behind a poisonous bog behind you, just generally helpful. Not the best start to what is going to be me taking on a boss, but it's not a particularly hard boss if you know how to gimmick it. All I need to know is if I can equip this. I can't equip that, I can't equip that. Can I equip that? Yes, I can equip that. Sweet. Then maybe I'll be able to do something. Get past this guy real quick. This guy, there'll be, I believe, 1 or 2 more guys up here. That's another interesting build I've seen. People have done full, like, Castlevania style whip builds. It's never really suited me very much, but I have seen it used to some good extent. So on your way to the Executioner's chariot, you're gonna be invaded by a red soul. And you're gonna be annoyed by your enemies. I'm gonna try, see, there he is. Try and poison him. Or die. Or die like a bitch. Die like a bitch happens a lot for me. But that's okay. I kind of wanted to change some of my spells up anyway. So I'm gonna run there. I keep my spells, I'm just gonna run there. Actually, this is just going to be such a bad idea. Like that they all came out, Jesus. Did I get anybody with that? Can this not happen though? Oh, fuck my pussy. Jesus. So I know I'm doing super duper great right now. I want to try something out. One second, please. I'm still here. I just want to do one thing. Okay, sorry about that. Welcome back to me, I guess. So that's an example of letting shit go bad. Obviously, if you just take care of your problems as they happen, you won't get so much bad shit happening in your life. The problem is, I don't know how well my dark magic is actually going to do against the chariot executioner or the executioner chariot. that went a little bit better. Gonna watch out for, there we go. I'm gonna wait for this little guy to get up. Unless I can actually target him. There we go. I'm gonna try one more time to do this correct, well, incorrectly, I suppose. So this is what should have happened before. There we go. And I just wait for him to die. Bye-bye. He could struggle all he wanted to, but I wasn't gonna save him. Welcome back, by the way. So, what is your favorite of the Dark Souls series? If you have one. Yay! Just let them die. Please focus on the enemy I need you to focus on. Shit.